So this morning's topic, we're reviewing the divine principles present for humans on a spiritual path to master. Truth, beauty, goodness, love, omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence. Before you enter each lifetime, you make a contract with the Creator and say, well, I've never been much into beauties. I see the squalor I lived in, and I see this and this and this. I would love to manifest and learn and live in beauty. Or perhaps it's love for you. For me, it's truth. Everything is about speaking the truth. So what it is we get bottled up in other lifetimes, and say I was a priestess or someone who spoke out truth, and the mass consciousness said, oh boy, we got to keep this down. I don't know how many times I've been killed, crucified, or muffled. I know some of you are laughing. But what you choose, what you're about, what you're focused on will give you a hint in the divine essence that you are attempting to master and embody in these lifetimes. And there are 10 steps to each. So, to become a Christ consciousness, a Buddha, enlightened Buddha, you must go through 10 steps of each of these principles. And it's not like you can find a cookbook on a shelf. It's spiritually designed for each of us. And the steps are slightly different, almost as if we're baking the perfect meal for that person's perfect olfactory, the smell, and the digestibility, the correct stomach environment, and the affordability for that person, that each menu for the journey of these 70 steps is created by it's created by yourself, but you forget. When you're born, you take the pill of forgetting. So you come to earth, and no other human, they're the actors in the play that you assign, that you project out. I need to learn about truth. Hey, give me a father who lies. Give me a father that when I'm a little girl, I'm an empath, and I don't realize it, but I'm floating right over into my father's body, and I hear him thinking different thoughts in his voice. That's what happened to me. I know my entire life. I want to say, you're lying. You're lying 80%, but want to be good 20%. So 80% of my entire life focus is peeling back mistruths, liars, manipulators, control over, withholding information, and cheating. I feel happy when I expose the truth and when I assist others speaking the truth so they're not hurt. So when you look at the principle you're bringing in, it's hilarious how many ways that you get to experience that playing out by seeing opportunities to designate. Well, that's not beautiful. How can I make it beautiful? Where can I get the money? What can I put together? I mean, our passion, within our passion lies the keys to your soul's path towards enlightenment. Gosh, I never put it together this way, but it truly makes perfect sense. So my secondary is beauty. Everything has to be beautiful. Everything has to be balanced. That's why I take so many pictures and so many videos to show things in their color, their brilliance, to enjoy it, to soak it in, and to know that my creative mind has taken mundane things. I especially used to love to take old little dolls when I was little and decorate them with fancy fabrics that I'd made myself. Dolls that were ready to go away. Their hair's all pulled out. I made them beautiful. To me, they were orphans. They just needed to be loved. So I'm giving these examples because your path is allowing you to use your free will to discover and move towards your passion, which brings you what? It brings you engagement. It brings you a sense of aliveness. It brings you a sense of satisfaction, and that is happiness. It's not related to money. And notice how often other people are prescribed what would make you happy. They say, oh, you're this, you're good at this, when in fact, often it's projection or based on their little movie perceptual field of view. What ignites and excites you is your hint for the next puzzle piece of your 70-unit puzzle piece of the 7 divine principles played out in 10 steps each. That's 70, that's the math. So you have to find it yourself. You have to find the passion by experimenting and learning and shutting out everybody else's ideas. Get clarity on yourself. And that's where traveling is important. If you stay with your family or the same people, you don't get a chance to be someone else. Think about it. Go somewhere else. You get to choose. You get to choose how to say things, because all the ways other people's expectations hold us in these little boxes. So by traveling, you get to be free and you get to drop everything and experience what you like to do. That's when you travel by yourself and you go with someone else. What should we do today? What should we have for breakfast? What's our budget? It's unending. Rudolf Steiner said it this way. A human must leave the community, must leave the tribe and go out. Almost like an initiation, 40 days in the desert, call it what you want, to find themselves. And only then can they come back into community and be a valuable, valued, contributing person from their authentic gifts. Otherwise, they're the sheeple. They're the ones that actually invite and allow other people. They hold the vibration of control me because that's who I am. No, you're not a being to be controlled. You are a being to be one with your soul journey towards complete mastery of love, truth, beauty, omniscience, omnipresence. And think about it. The first 4 are more human: truth, beauty, love, and goodness, of course. The last 4, omniscience. That's when you know how to use your consciousness, go into the grid, find the 0 points, and access any information across all timelines. It's been shown to people. I do quantum future envisioning circles, and also prophesies that children in the future will simply sit in nature on little stumps and think together, let's go see Christopher Columbus on his journey. They safely go, can see what he's thinking. They go in the communication grid. They've gone on the travel grid to get there, and they see it all and come back and discuss it. We won't need books. There'll be no intermediary of human influence and control in education in the future. So this omniscience is going to be available for all humans once enough catch on that we can do that. It's a 100th monkey effect. No longer is it workable for someone to say, oh, that person's a psychic and it's woo-woo. No longer is it possible to say, well, that person says they live on their intuition. We're psychic. The visionaries will find their place as educators, and will have the reverence and respect in short order on a world that is destroying itself based on misaligned principles. Omniscience, omnipotence. Now, that's the last golden ticket you get. Why? Because you can't create unless you've gone through all the. It's like water in the anthroposophical world. The water starts a little dirty and it can't really grow or manifest things because of its impurity, but it goes through these granite movements and these fountains they have, just like artisan wells, goes through beautiful cleaning, the movement, and that water going through that purifying path comes out clean where it can manifest and grow beautiful, most healthy, good for all, harm to none. And that's the position you will need to be in before you're allowed to fully manifest with your thoughts. And of course, that's called the fifth dimension. It's a completely new milieu. And there are beings on the earth doing it now, but there's such a density out there and a mass density that it's hard for one being to pierce all that density. So the more of us move through these principles and get to the gate of having the golden ticket to actually create with our mind, the more of us, that is the front steps of creating the house of heaven on earth. And we are getting there. Some of us are getting very close. We are learning to master our consciousness. So, again, it's a certain ticket that you earn, and it's like driving a car and then getting an Air Force pilot and driving a jet, a bullet train, and we're getting tickets to drive reality. And we must drive it safely, consciously, remember our skills, and stay in that seat of mastery. Okay? And omnipresence, let's see, I think I covered that. The omnipresence is the ability to simply see, still our minds, access the grid. We've talked about it enough now. With the 0 points on that grid, and place ourselves in the grid and move out omnipresence. You can travel to one place, or you can be everywhere at once. How do you think Jesus talks to everybody? He goes through that grid telephone line. Someone says, Jesus Christ, will you help me? Boom. It's right there at that 0 point, effusing, being there in a diaphanous state, sometimes even visibly recreating an image, depending on that person's journey. Everything depends on your unique journey. As I said, it's like there's a super cook chef in the sky whipping you up the meal, and all your divine guides are serving this information to you that you can digest at the right time when you finally are sitting down saying, I'm ready to do it. Think about that. How many spirit beings are available to you to dive in deeper to your 70-step lessons? So let's take a deep breath and let's move a little bit deeper into this realm, personally for each of you, okay? Deep breath through the nose and out through the mouth. We ask and intend to set a sacred space. We let our thinking go. We come to a space of no thoughts, thoughtlessness, stillness. And we take our attention to our heart. Just simply open your heart and just sit for a moment in this stillness, completely awake. completely awake in your consciousness, without that chittery chattery distraction of that ego brain, mind. Just rest. We ask and intend to get clarity on what each of your principles are for this lifetime. What are you working on is exactly not what you mastered in other lives, but what you're still intending to work on and master in this lifetime. So this is how it will proceed. I will say the principle, and you will simply ask your higher self. You will feel it, you will experience, and perhaps even get a percent. An acknowledgement of, yes, I am working on acknowledging, establishing, speaking, supporting truth or beauty or love or goodness. So we're going to go through each one slowly so you will feel the answer and the truth of what you are working on in this lifetime. Take a deep breath through the nose and out through the mouth. The first principle is truth. Truth has a vibration. It has a color form. It has a movement. And perhaps truth has not been a major part of your beingness, or maybe you've mastered it in another lifetime fully. Ask your heart to show you if you are working on truth and what percent. Beautiful. Now we will move into the beauty principle, which is lovely to feel. Allow yourself to be enrobed, to feel the essence deeply of beauty in all of its forms. Color, light, art, feng shui, clothing, textures. Feel in your heart and ask, is there a percent if you are working on it in this lifetime? And take a deep breath. Isn't it beautiful to breathe in beauty? Just experience it in this way. The next principle, very high vibration, love. Did you bring in immense full love quotient, or are you working on expressing, exploring, feeling, and expanding love in this lifetime? And ask if there is a percent there for you. Beautiful. Now we move on to goodness. Goodness, kindness, support for people, inspiration, giving gifts of your time, your love, always doing the right thing. Immerse yourself in the vibration of goodness and ask your heart to tell you, are you working on goodness in this lifetime? And what percent? Doesn't have to add up to 100, the different percents. Just give you a sense of what your soul's goalposts are in this life, which are different than any other humans. Beautiful. The next divine principle is omniscience. Try that on. all-knowing, wise. Try that on and ask your heart, what is your relationship with omniscience in this lifetime, and what percent? And the next principle is omnipotence, all-powerful. The ability to see and shift all. This is a tremendous power of co-creation with Source. It's the last step of an incarnation. Feel into it and breathe. Omnipotence. And notice how it feels. Does it feel safe to be a creator in this earth realm? Exciting. And the last one to try on is omnipresence. To be all places at once. Try this on. Bring this energy, this essence into your body, into your heart, and feel. Beautiful. Excellent. And notice if there is a percent. Okay, so remember what these percents are, and notice that the percents are clues to, again, things that interest you and attract your attention, that you want to put your time and energy. It's like putting your eggs in that basket. Are things that will bring you profound sense of efficacy, a sense of accomplishment, personal success in a very deep way. Not just a certificate from some school or something, but your own divine soul growth. Now, a person who appears in your world, or say even if you have mastered omnipotence, omnipresence, you wouldn't ordinarily know it because people in your daily life, we talked a bit earlier about living the authentic divine life as an incarnated human. Does not mean that we are being saint-like in our perceptual, the old way, or a being who stands here and orates God's words. No. What is being called for now is to master these principles and to bring them out and enjoy them in appropriate ways in the human setting that you are in now. Creating beauty within the world, the room, the wardrobe where you live now. To have omnipotence and to not state it to people, oh, I can recreate this reality. No, it's to use these principles for your own soul mastery. And of course, they weave together. And then you're presenting as the world as a happy person. A happy person who tends to travel, who travels. A person who wants to manifest more graciousness is manifesting more graciousness. Okay? And feeling so good about that. And some, especially the new beings coming in, these children, they are everywhere at once, can see everything. They've already mastered omniscience and omnipotence. So we are moving into a realm of just authentic, passionate living where we're not tooting our horn. Oh, I can do this, I can do that. It is a personal trajectory. And when we come together with other people, it's so important to not live an isolated life unless it's your highest calling, is to come together and use that omnipotence for agreed upon higher divine principles to be instituted in the infrastructure of the living realm for earth that honors all beings, good for all and harm to none. So your mastering the 70 steps is ultimately what will assist the earth to realize the divine plan. As you come out of invisibility or fear of your gifts and realize other people have these gifts too. We can all manifest. Okay, I'm going to sit with the ones who know how to manifest, and we're going to use our gifts for greater good. We're going to unfold new initiatives. Does that make sense? Your path, your passion, your success, your friends, the family, the communities, each of us supporting each other on our quest, on these 70 steps, starting with yourself, is the insurance for a happier, higher vibration earth experience. And that's how it's set up. And your gut and your heart knows. Your mind sometimes takes you off track, and again, usually it's other generated. There are movies coming into you. Know thyself. Is that Shakespeare? Know thyself. And that's what it means. Know what is your percentage? What makes you tick? What makes you happy? So many parents shame and cut their children off from inheritances, and just their whole life these kids feel guilty for having a different formula than their parents imagined that they should have. Or some partners just, you need to do this because my partner would do this. We are moving into an age of autonomous, even androgyny, our own masculine, our own feminine, so we choose. It is all becoming clearer and more defined of how our consciousnesses can design everything. And the more coherent your consciousness is, the more that you have mastered through these steps and awareness. You can even see it. You can see it on a voice print. There's Don Estes makes the portico, and you speak into it. And a person who's done lots of consciousness work, understands how energy works, make choices, and is expanding and working the tools, their voices go into a beautiful symmetrical pattern, like a beautiful, also, and it's unique to each person. And I've seen them because I worked 6 months with the Portico program. And a person who is very attuned, they even have in the middle a black hole of spaciousness where they are allowed for their 0 point to become one. I'm going to think of his name, Beckwith, Michael Beckwith, the great spiritual speaker, Southern California. He has a big, open, spaciousness, still point within his beingness that radiates out in his voice. Remember, your voice radiates out, all of you, your consciousness. So a person who's angry and hasn't done any consciousness work and is controllable and is a sheeple, their vocal print is just mushy and not formed, versus a person using the divine consciousness tools for development starts following into an absolute neat geometric pattern, which, guess what, fits in to the 0 points of all that is, and you're plugged in, and you are in an elevated, high vibration, connected space with all divine flow and alignments, which gives you, again, a ticket to what? Omniscience, omnipresence, and omnipotence. Okay? So take all of that in and relax and feel the mosaic of your soul's 70 puzzle pieces, and notice how filled in this lifetime that puzzle is. Notice, this is just metaphor question, how many puzzle pieces are still to be put in? Polished. Puzzle pieces just, chiseled a little bit so that they fit in and your whole body harmoniously sings the creation song and your voice creates as your mind directs it. So again, you're not going to find GPS manual coming along with your physical birth in this lifetime where your mother says, oh, this is this being. We have lots of hints, astrology, all these different systems. But the true way, when your humanness and your thinking and your way of being is like big question mark, just drop in, go to the 0 point, and ask Spirit, what is my next step? And I asked that step one time as I left my very safe and secure marriage to an orthodontist of 23 years, and Spirit tapped me on the shoulder and said, well, actually, it gave me melanoma on this shoulder. And I remember as a nurse, I said, I'm going to be dead. I could be dead in 6 weeks. And I said, God, if you let me live every day, I will live the life that my Creator put me here to live. So, when I left that marriage, and I just kept sitting there saying, every day I'd say, what is next? And Spirit said, your husband moved out of his den yesterday, and he moved out of the whole house, went and lived somewhere else. And you're going to build a sound healing center in that den. And I just about fell off my chair. What? But it started a journey. My friend Journey helped me so much, taught me so much at that point. So ask if you get a little befuddled on what percent am I working on what. I mean, sometimes they say, what's next? Plant a rose garden. Maybe you're learning about beauty in nature and patience and watching those flowers grow. So trust Spirit. Sometimes beyond ourselves until we're so awake in our own spirit life that our thoughts, our ideas, they're just all one. It's all one. It's no separate, no asking out there. So I think that's enough topics and going through processes today. And I never know what we're actually going to talk about till I start talking. So I thank Spirit for asking for today's topic, and I think it is interesting and important. And I received this information from Caroline Corey. I work with her for 15 years, and often I use her structures and principles to make the kind of confusing parts understandable in a human form to approach. So 7 principles, 70 steps. I'm Jan Jorgensen at soundandlighthealingarts.com, and you can join us live. You can join us live any Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Just go to the website, soundandlighthealingarts.com. Stop.
good question.